السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى، وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. Today, Saturday, the 3rd of the month of Sha'ban, 1441, and it matches the 28th of March, 2020. And we are still doing the book which we just started. This is our third session with Al-Imam Ibn Al-Qayyim and his book Hadi al-Arwah ila Bilad al-Afrah, which is once again paradise and its description. And we are still doing his introduction, alayhi rahmatullahi ta'ala. So last piece of the introduction, he was talking about those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted tawfiq and facilitation. So they knew why they were created, and they worked hard to achieve the goal, and that is the everlasting life, the good life in paradise. And he is wondering at the foolishness of those who replaced that everlasting joy in paradise. They ignored it and they replaced it, and they focused on the vanishing little worldly pleasures that have that cannot be compared at all to the joys of paradise. And therefore they have replaced the means that will lead them to paradise. They have replaced them with the means of evil, the evil means that will only lead them to the hellfire, wal'iyadhu billah. And he mentioned how they replaced this for that, this for that, this for that. That's where we left off, and the last thing was them replacing the call of Satan to all kinds of prohibited things. They replaced the call that the people of paradise will be called to, or will be told that they will be enjoying, they will never be in any hardship, they will live, they will never die, and they will reside, they will never depart from that land of joys, paradise that they are in. And the last piece we did was وتشب فلا تهرموا, أو تشب, more likely تشب, but there is تشب also. فلا تهرموا بغناء المغنين. That the people of paradise, they will be told that you will have the quality that you will always remain youthful. تشب, شب يشب, and shab, he became shab, a youth, a young man, or shab, a young woman. So they will be told, "O people of paradise, you will always remain youthful and young," right? Youthful and young. And he will talk about the age of the people of paradise later on. That will be coming. So you will be youthful, you will never grow old. Harima yahramu, right? You will never experience what is called haram, right? There's the famous hadith about the black seed, right? That cures everything except for haram, except for old age. Nothing you can take, no medicine you can take that will retrieve your youthful age, that will bring you back to your youthhood or the time when you are young. There is nothing that can fix that. تشبوا فلا تهرموا. They replace that with what? Those beautiful promises, words that the people of paradise will be told. They replace that بغناء المغنين, with the singing of the singers. Then he mentions two lines of poetry, uh, that the lover, he says to his beloved, that love have brought me and made me stand wherever you are. Wherever you are. Love, me loving you, that is, has brought me to a place and made me stand there. So I cannot move forward or move backward. I cannot move. I love you so much. So I came and I stood there. Then he says, وقف الهوى بي حيث أنت فليس لي متأخر عنه ولا متقدم أجد الملامة في هواك لذيذة حبا لذكرك فليلمني اللوم. He says, I find being blamed, يعني people blaming me, I find the blames due to loving you. I find those blames to be tasty, to be delicious. I like people blaming me. Why? حبا لذكرك. Because I love for you to be mentioned to me. I love you so much to a point that those who blame me, I love this blame. Why? Because they are reminding me of you, right? حبا لذكرك فليلمني اللوم. Let those blamers continue to blame me. Of course, يعني the sheikh here, he's bringing it here. Yani Allah knows best, either to show the how much, and it could be for both sides. Allah knows best, yani. But the context, yani, he brought it here. So it's either the people of falsehood and how much they like and how much they are attracted and how much they are attached to the ways and means of falsehood, leading them to the fire, waliyadhu billah, to a point that if you tell them this is haram, that's not allowed, don't listen to this, don't do that, they don't want. And the fact that you are mentioning those things that they are attached to, they don't care and they actually love it. Blame me more because you are reminding me of those things that I love. And it could be used also on the other side too. Yani the people of Quran, the people of dhikr, of remembrance, those who recite the Quran a lot, reflect on the Quran a lot, and love the Quran a lot, and love the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a lot. They love the salah a lot. They love fasting a lot, and all the other acts of worship. They love them so much. Uh, the love they have for those means leading to paradise, يعني, is even far much more. They outrace, they beat the love of the disobedient people to the means and ways of disobedience that they are upon. Now he goes on to say, وإنما يظهر الغبن الفاحش, or الغبن, غبن or غبن, both of them are correct. غبن or غبن is the loss, or when you are shortchanged, when you are not profiting. You bring a merchandise that's worth 10 and no one is buying, so you find yourself forced to sell it for 5. Or actually, you buy an item from this merchant for 10, and then you find the very same item in another place, you find it for 5, right? Same item, you find it for a much less, a half price, or even less than half price. This is called ghabn or ghubn. It could be sometimes, it could be يعني by deception, and it could be just happened like that, right? But it's a state of loss. And we have the famous surah in the Quran, Surah At-Taghabun, At-Taghabun, the mutual loss, right? Yani someone who has a seat in the fire. Every one of us has a seat in the fire and a seat in paradise. But the believers, they will not enter the fire. And the disbelievers, they will not enter paradise. So what will happen? There is a switch of places, a switch of seats. And we seek refuge with Allah from the seats of the people of the fire. So every one of us has a spot in paradise and a spot in the fire. What happens? The believers, because they enter paradise, they get their spot. What happens to their spot in the fire? It's given to someone else. That someone else who entered into the fire, he has a spot in the fire, he took it. Okay. What happens to his spot in paradise? That is given to one of the believers. Mutual loss, right? Or mutual profit and loss. التغابن, right? And subhanallah al-azim. So he says this غبن, this loss of profit, this يعني once again he was talking about the means and ways of leading to paradise, the means and ways leading to the fire, and that the people of the fire, they chose those means and ways that are prohibited. So the great loss that is fahish, that is so big, right, extra, it will emerge, it will show, it will become manifest, it will be apparent. When? On the day of judgment. Yani this is, once again, هذا البيع, this sales contract. They sold off what is good for what is evil. The great loss will become crystal clear when? On the day of judgment. وإنما يتبين سفه بائعه يوم الحسرة والندامة. The foolishness of the seller, the one who sold paradise for the fire, this, the foolishness of this person, of the seller, the salesman, it will be uh, manifest, يتبين, it will become clear on the day of al-hasra, pity, and the day of nadama, regret. Hasra, pity, and nadama, regret. وأنذرهم يوم الحسرة, الحسرة, the pity. إذا حشر المتقون إلى الرحمن وفدا. That is when the believers will be gathered to the most merciful Ar-Rahman as an honored group, as an honored delegates, honored guests, وفد, delegates. وسيق المجرمون إلى جهنم وردا. When the criminals, they will be taken to the fire in a state of thirst, being very thirsty, wirdan, right? They will come to the fire, والعياذ بالله, and they are very thirsty. ونادى المنادي على رؤوس الأشهاد. That day when the caller will call, when all the people will witness that. لا يعلمن أهل الموقف من أولى بالكرم من بين العباد. The people who are standing here on the day of judgment, they will get to know who will be most deserving, أولى, with honor and nobility between the servants. فلو توهم المتخلف عن هذه الفرقة ما أعد الله لهم من الإكرام. If the one who chose to lag behind, to stay behind, تخلف يتخلف, متخلف, he stayed behind, he lagged behind. If the one who stays behind only knows or gets to know what Allah has prepared for them, يعني he delayed himself from joining this firqa, this group, right? The group of paradise. What Allah has prepared for them of the honor, وَادَّخَرَ لَهُم مِّنَ الْفَضْلِ وَالْإِنْعَامِ, and what He has treasured for them of the excellence and bounty. وَمَا أَخْفَى لَهُم أو وَمَا أُخْفِيَ لَهُم مِّن قُرَّةِ أَعْيُنٍ, and what has been hidden in preparation for them of satisfaction for their eyes. من قرة أعين لم يقع على مثلها بصر, which the eyesight never saw. ولا سمعته أذن, nor an ear has ever heard of. ولا خطر على قلب بشر, and no heart of a human being has ever come across or ever thought of. If the one who lags behind only knows what those people will have, لعلم أي بضاعة أضاع, then he will get to know لعلم أي بضاعة, what kind of merchandise he put to waste. أضاع يضيع, to make lose, yeah, make himself lose, what he made himself lose. وأنه لا خير له في حياته, he will actually get to know that there is nothing good at all in him living. لا خير له في حياته, no good for him in his life, يعني to be alive, nothing good for him to remain alive. وهو معدود من سقط المتاع, and he is considered from سقط المتاع, he is considered from سقط المتاع, he is considered from the merchandise that is unwanted, right? Merchandise that is unwanted and deserted. وعلم أن القوم قد توسطوا ملكا كبيرا, he will get to know that the people are amidst, they are within a great dominion, a great kingdom. ملكا كبيرا لا تعتريه الآفات, no flaw, no problems will come around it at all. ولا يلحقه الزوال, and it will never perish. وفازوا بالنعيم المقيم, and that they won the everlasting bliss, the bliss, the enjoyment that will remain forever. في جوار الكبير المتعال, in the company, in the neighborhood, they will be close to Al-Kabir, the grand subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Muta'al, the most high. فهم في روضات الجنات يتقلبون, they are in the gardens of paradise, روضات الجنة, the gardens of paradise. يتقلبون, they turn, they move about in there. وعلى أسرتها تحت الحجال يجلسون, and on the beds, on the couches of paradise, under the canopy, they are sitting. وعلى الفرش التي بطائنها من استبرق يتكئون, and they are upon the mattresses or the beds whose inside is of istabrak. Istabrak is the silk. Istabrak is the silk. They are lying down on these couches or these mattresses or beds. وبالحور العين يتنعمون, they are enjoying, the women of paradise who are حور عين, يعني with beautiful eyes, they are enjoying. وبأنواع الثمار يتفكهون, and they are enjoying the different types of fruits. ويطوف عليهم ولدان مخلدون, and there circles them those young boys of paradise, their servants. بأكواب وأباريق وكأس من معين لا يصدعون عنها ولا ينزفون وفاكهة مما يتخيرون ولحم طير مما يشتهون وحور عين كأمثال اللؤلؤ المكنون جزاء بما كانوا يعملون. He quotes those ayat from Surah Al-Waqi'ah, talking about the people of paradise and how those young servants are around them, bringing them cups and pitchers and serving them a drink of Khamr al Jannah, the wine of paradise, that will not cause them to have a headache, and it will not cause them any sickness at all, unlike the Khamr of this dunya. And they will enjoy the fruits that they select and choose. They will have the meat of the birds that they desire, and they will have the women of paradise, al hur al ain, who resemble the saved or covered, preserved maknoon, preserved pearls, as a reward for what they used to do. Also, يطاف عليهم بصحاف من ذهب وأكواب. They will circle them also with plates from gold, and also cups, and in there, or tumblers, and in there, فيها ما تشتهيه الأنفس. In paradise, they will have whatever the soul's desire and enjoys. تشتهيه الأنفس وتلذ الأعين. In it are the things that the eyes enjoy looking at. وأنتم فيها خالدون, and you are going to be dwelling therein forever. Also quoting from the Quran, he said, تالله لقد نودي عليها في سوق الكساد. By Allah, he is resembling this merchandise now. He making this merchandise of paradise resemble what the people do in the marketplaces. So we reach the point where he is making this beautiful merchandise of paradise resemble how the people are doing in the marketplaces. You know how they bring something, they say this for that, $10, $5. So he said that this merchandise of paradise, people are shouting and calling for it, but then it's in the Suq al Kasad. It is in the marketplace that is not going, yani. Uh, it's like our time, they are expecting to end up, it's expected that it will end up in a recession. People are not interested. It's a marketplace where the people are not interested in the merchandise. So he said, in that souk, that marketplace where the people are not interested, hmm, the merchandise was called for to be sold. He said, فَمَا قَلَّبَ وَلَا اسْتَامَ. Those people who are disinterested, yani when you call for something, the people want to come, can I take a look? So they take it, they look at it, they turn it up, they turn it down. قَلَّبَ قَلَّبَ يُقَلِّبُ, to turn. And then يَسْتَامَ, to ask for the price and to give a price. How much is this? 10. Will you take 8 for it? Right? Those are who are interested. But then when people are not interested, what happens? لا يقلب ولا يستام. He doesn't even take the merchandise and turn it and look at it, checks it, and doesn't even give a price. إلا أفراد من العباد. Only few individuals from the servants of Allah. They are the ones who يعني they cared for paradise and for the merchandise of paradise. He said, فَوَا عَجَبًا لَهَا كَيْفَ نَامَ طَالِبُهَا. He is wondering, وَعَجَبًا, how much I wonder for about paradise. How is it that the one who is seeking it is actually sleeping? Paradise that has so good commodities of the commodities, how come the one who's seeking it is just asleep? وكيف لم يسمح بمهرها خاطبها. How is it that the one who is proposing to her, يعني to the women of paradise, right? For instance, how is it that the one who's proposing, he doesn't have the willingness to pay its price, the dowry, mahr, right? You propose to a woman, then you expect that you will pay the dowry, but then you want to marry her without a dowry. How can that work? The same for paradise. You want it, you have to pay the dowry. So he's wondering, how is it that someone is proposing and he doesn't want to pay the dowry? وكيف طاب العيش في هذه الدار بعد سماع أخبارها. How is it that the people are enjoying? How is it that the people like living in this worldly life after they heard the news of the next life, the news of paradise? وكيف قر للمشتاق القرار دون معانقة أبكارها. How is it that the one who's longing, the one who's yearning, the one who's so much interested, he is having nostalgia, he's nostalgic, so much, wanting the paradise. How is it that he just sitting comfortable or cool, being cool without hugging the virgins of paradise. وكيف قرت دونها أعين المشتاقين. How is it that the eyes of the people who have so much interest in it, how much or how is it that their eyes have cooled down? They're just satisfied. How is it? وكيف صبرت عنها أنفس الموقنين. How is it that the souls of the people who have certain belief, those who have certain faith, certain belief in the next life and in paradise, hmm, how is it that they have become patient? Patient يعني away from it. Patient not to be in it. How can they be patient? وكيف صدفت عنها قلوب أكثر العالمين. How is it that the hearts of the majority, of the most of the humankind, the humans, how is it that their hearts have turned away from it? وبأي شيء تعوضت عنها نفوس المعرضين. What is it that the souls of those who are turning away from paradise, what is it that their souls have which serves as a replacement for paradise? What is it that replaced paradise and its enjoyment for them? Then he goes on to put a line of poetry which end with the letter mim, and it's called Al-Mimiyah by Ibn Al-Qayyim. Is a very beautiful line of poetry talking about different things, and part of that is paradise, and part of that he included the Hajj, and the description of Hajj is a very beautiful line of poetry. I will not mention all of it, but I will mention the meanings of part of that. Uh, he said, فيا خاطب الحسناء إن كنت راغبا فهذا زمان المهر فهو المقدم. He says, oh, one who's proposing to the beautiful woman, that is the women of paradise he's talking about. In kunta raghiban, if you want the women of paradise, فهذا زمان المهر. This is the time where you have to pay the dowry. فهو المقدم. It is to be paid in advance. It is to be paid in advance. يعني to get paradise, you have to work here in this worldly life, right? And he goes on to say, وكن أيما مما سواها فإنها لمثلك في جنات عدن تأيم. Divorce yourself from anything else other than it. يعني stay away from anything other than the hope for the next life, يعني and the women of paradise. فإنها لمثلك في جنات عدن تأيم. It is for the likes of you that she will be يعني أيم. The أيم is the person who does not have a spouse, right? So يعني be spouseless. يعني if you want to go literal here, be spouseless. يعني stay away from all, you know, other things. Focus on it because she is there for you, waiting for you, without a spouse there waiting for you. And then he mentions what is it that you need to do. وصم يومك الأدنى لعلك في غد تفوز بعيد الفطر والناس صوم. Fast this day, يعني the closer day of yours, يعني this day that you are in, fast, fast, صيام. Maybe tomorrow you will enjoy, you will win celebrating Eid al-Fitr. You will celebrate the day of breaking the fast. وَالنَّاسُ صُوَّمُوا. In the next life, fast in this life, so that in the next life you will break fast, you will enjoy, Allah will honor you, will treat you, while the rest of the people they will be fasting. Fast in this world, Allah will reward you. You do not fast here, you will be fasting there. والعياذ بالله. وأقدم ولا تقنع بعيش منغص فما فاز باللذات من ليس يقدم. Be forward. He's telling you to be conscientious. Embark upon this task of wanting paradise. Do what it takes. And do not be convinced, do not be satisfied with a living that is filled of problems. Living here in this worldly life that has a lot of problems in it. For no one will win and enjoy يعني the different types of joys. No one will win, or he will not win, the one who does not embark, the one who does not take initiative, the one who is not conscientious and works hard. He will not be from those who will win. He says فحي على جنات عدن فإنها منازلنا الأولى وفيها المخيم. He says حي, like حي على الفلاح, حي على الصلاة. Come, right? Come to the gardens of Eden, for surely they are our original homes, our first homes, and in there we should be residing. In there we should be residing. يعني Adam and Eve عليهما السلام, they were in paradise. That's where we belong. That's our first home. That's where we should be residing, not here in this worldly life. We are only here coming to live for a short time. The everlasting life is actually there. He said, ولكننا سبي العدو فهل ترى نعود إلى أوطاننا ونسلم. But we are the captives. We are captivated by the enemies, the shaitan, the evil self, the bad company, right? We are enslaved. We are captivated by the enemy. So, do you think, tell me, are we going to go back home? Are we going back to our homes and will we be safe? Are we going back home to paradise? And are we going to be safe? We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that. وقد زعموا أن الغريب إذا نأى وشطت به أوطانه فهو مغرم. They claim that the stranger, the foreigner, he goes from his homeland, he goes travels to another land. He's a stranger, he's a foreigner. If he goes far, they claim, if the foreigner goes far from his own land and he goes actually شطط به أوطانه, he goes very very far away from his home, then فهو مغرم, he's so much attached, he is so much in love for his original home, right? And this is true. If you were born in a place and raised in that place, then you move out to another country, you still always remember back home. Well, paradise is actually the first and original home. We should have that attachment towards it. We are supposed to have that. We are created with that attachment to it, right? So it's just that we are heedless. We become unaware. Our minds are, going everywhere and forgetting about paradise. He goes. So they claim that the foreigner, when he goes away, he's so much attached to his home. He goes, وأي اغتراب فوق غربتنا التي أضحت الأعداء فينا لها أضحت الأعداء فينا تحكموا. What kind of strangeness that is more than the strangeness that we are in, which the enemies now are taking control over us. Our enemies are controlling us in this strange land that we live in. He says, وحي على السوق الذي فيه يلتقي المحبون ذاك السوق للقوم يعلمون. Come to that marketplace which the lovers are going to meet, and it is a well-known marketplace, سوق الجنة, the marketplace of paradise. Does paradise has a marketplace? Yes, it does, and he will describe it later on. فما شئت خذ منه بلا ثمن له فقد أسلف التجار فيه وأسلموا. He says when you go to that marketplace in paradise, meaning you take without paying a price. Why? Because the merchants, the businessmen, they have already paid the price and they already handed it over. The price, they paid it here. The good deeds that they have done here. Right? وحي على يوم المزيد الذي به زيارة رب العرش فاليوم موسم. Come to the day of Mazid, the day of extra, in which there is going to be the visit to, in which the visit of the Lord of the throne will happen. That day will be like a festive, a festival, right? Like a season, right? A time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes to visit the people of paradise, and He will talk about that also later on. وحي على واد هنالك أفيح وتربته من إذفر المسك أعظم منابر من نور هنالك أفيح وتربته من إذفر المسك أعظم. So he is now talking about the valley in there that is so wide, that has the dust of it is actually from the best type of musk, and it is the scent of it is so beautiful. He talks about the pulpits of light that the people will sit on, that some of the believers will sit on, and that the rest they will sit upon kuthban of musk. يعني كثيب is the sand dune, the sand dunes of musk, right? So if you are from the higher people, you will sit on a pulpit, and if not, you will be sitting on those يعني كثيب, where يعني for those the sand dunes, يعني basically it's a heap of sand all together, right? يعني but that sand or that dust is actually from musk. Hmm? فبين هم في عيشهم وسرورهم وأرزاقهم تجري عليهم وتقسم, while they are in their livelihood and in their happiness, and the provision is being delivered to them and being distributed upon them, إذا هم بنور ساطع أشرقت له بأقطارها الجنات لا يتوهم. يعني they have a very shiny light then, and all paradise, all corners of paradise بأقطارها, all of its parts will be lit up, will be lit up, and that is no imagination. They will see actually that light coming to them while they're being provided for. What is that shiny light? What happens? He says, تجلى لهم رب السماوات جهرة فيضحك فوق العرش ثم يكلم. He says that the Lord of the heavens, he will unveil himself to them جهرة. They will see him directly with their own eyes. قالوا أرنا الله جهرة. The word جهرة is in the Quran, right? جهرة. They want to see with their own eyes, right? So that will happen in paradise, not in this worldly life. So he laughs above the throne, then he speaks. ثم يكلم سلام عليكم. سلام قولا من رب رحيم. Right? As in the Quran. He says to them, peace be upon you. يسمعون جميعهم. All of them will hear that. بآذانهم تسليمه إذ يسلموا. They will hear his salams. When he is giving salam, they will hear it with their own ears. يقول سلوني ما اشتهيتم فكل ما تريدون عندي أو فكل ما تريدون عندي إنني أنا أرحم. He says, ask me whatever you desire, for whatever you want is I have it with me, and I am surely most merciful. فقالوا جميعا نحن نسألك الرضا فأنت الذي تولي الجميل وترحم. He says here that they all say, we only ask you for your pleasure, for you are the one who gives, you are the one who adorns, or the one who uh, uh, grants tulil jamil, the one who grants everything that is beautiful, and you are the one who grants mercy, tarham. فيعطيهم هذا ويشهد جمعهم عليه تعالى الله فالله أكرم. So he gives them this. أحل عليكم رضواني, as in the hadith, فلا أسخط عليكم أبدا. يعني he will give them his pleasure, subhanahu, he will be satisfied completely with them, and all of them will testify to that. Allah Azza wa Jal is so much generous. Then he says, and these last two lines, they are famous, especially the last one. I'm sure you've heard it. It says, فيا بائعا هذا ببخس معجل كأنك لا تدري بلى سوف تعلم. فيا بائعا, O you who is selling this description that he gave for paradise, all of this enjoyment and the provision, the marketplace of paradise, the day of extra, right? And Allah coming to them and giving them salam, and before that, whatever he described, right? He says, oh, one who is selling this for a very cheap price, بخس, as in Surah Yusuf, وشروه بثمن بخس. They bought him for a very lowly price, very low price. So you are selling this enjoyment in paradise with a very low and cheap price that is muajjalin, swift, right? Cash advance, right? So sometimes when you pay cash, they give you less. يعني if you pay cash, you get 10% off or 20% off, right? So it's a lowly price and it's swift, just because it's an immediate price. يعني you're selling paradise for stuff that is here in this worldly life, that is both cheap, just because it is delivered immediate to you. You don't want to wait. If you wait, you will get paradise. But if you rush, you will get this low stuff that is here, right? ببخس معجل. Oh, one who is selling that great thing for this low, cheap, immediate price. كأنك لا تدري. It's as if you do not know. بلى, rather, بلى is used to cancel what was said before. Rather, no. بلى, rather, no. سوف تعلم. You will surely know. Right? It's as if you don't know. No, actually, rather, surely you will know. Then he says, and this is very famous, فإن كنت لا تدري فتلك مصيبة. If you do not know, then that is a calamity, a catastrophe, a problem, a big مصيبة. Right? وإن كنت تدري, and if you know, then the calamity is even far much greater. Right? So if you don't know about paradise, like many of the disbelievers, they don't know about paradise, or the sinners, the disobedient ones, the one who are turning away, وَالْعِيَاذُ billah, even if they believe, they are turning away, so much immersed in this worldly life. If you do not know, that is a calamity. You don't know about these good things in paradise, right? فإن كنت لا تدري, if you don't know, that is a calamity. And if you know and you are certain, you claim to have faith and belief and certain faith, yaqeen, in paradise, right? As the believers, all of them do, regardless of, yani, as long as they are believers, they believe in this, regardless of the details and the different status or different degrees and levels of iman they are upon. Every believer believes in paradise. You cannot be a believer without believing in paradise and in the next life. That is one of the articles of faith. But then, so if you know and you still are choosing this lowly, cheap, immediate cash advance type of, just because it's cash, you're accepting whatever, right? But you know about paradise. So if you do not know, there is a problem. And if you do know, then your problem is even a greater one and a bigger one. Right? This line of poetry is used a lot when يعني, it is said, if you don't know about this, then that's a problem. But if you know and still don't care, then that's even a bigger problem. فإن كنت لا تدري, if you do not know, that is then a calamity. But if you know, وإن كنت تدري فالمصيبة أعظم. If you know, then the calamity is even bigger. He goes on to say, وهذا كتاب اجتهدت في جمعه وترتيبه وتفصيله وتبويبه. Imam al-Qayyim, he says to us that this is a book that I have put in effort in gathering it and in organizing it and in detailing it and putting it into sections and chapters. فهو للمحزون سلوى. He is to the one who is sad, it is a comfort, it is a means of consolation. سلوى, سلا يسلو, سلوان, right? وللمشتاق إلى تلك العرائس جلوى. This book also for the one who is longing so much for those brides of paradise, it is a jalwa, it's an unveilment, right? You are now going to discover in this book the description of those brides. محرك للقلوب. It's motivating to the hearts. It motivates the hearts. إلى أجل مطلوب, motivates the hearts to the greatest of objectives, required goals. وحاد للنفوس. It is also going to serve as a hadi. The hadi, as I told you before, for now, I don't have a word in English other than a chanter, right? The cameleer is actually the camel driver, right? But part of that, part of what they do, those who look after the camels, is they sing for them, and I explained that before. They chant for them. They chanting, singing, humming to make them walk and be enthusiastic in their travel, right? So this book does the same to the soul. حادن يعني it will interest you. It will, you know, chant to you to make you, be faster on the track to paradise. إلى مجاورة الملك القدوس. So it will, he makes it rhyming all the time. I cannot rhyme it in English as I wish, maybe sometimes, but not all the time. So it will chant and guide the souls to being close to Al-Malik Al-Quddus, the King, the Holy. ممتع لقارئه. This book is going to be enjoyable to the one who reads it. ومشوق للناظر فيه. It will be interesting. It will entice the one who looks in it to read it. لا يسأمه الجليس. The one who sits with this book, he will not be fed up. ولا يمله الأنيس. The pal, the friend, right? He will not be bored from this book. He will not be bored from this book. مشتمل من بدائع الفوائد وفرائد القلائد. It has included within it of the very fine benefits and the unique, marvelous jewels or necklaces. قلائد قلادة قلائد على ما لعل المجتهد في الطلب لا يظفر به فيما سواه من الكتب. He says in a way that the one who is so conscientious, so much striving in seeking this, he will not attain the information that is within. He will not attain that in other than it of the other books. مع تضمينه لجملة كثيرة من الأحاديث المرفوعات والآثار الموقوفات. He said, although I have also alongside with that, I have included within it so many of the ahadith that are raised up to the Prophet, يعني hadith of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, usually which is title in the مصطلح الحديث, terminology of hadith, مرفوع. مرفوع رفع يرفع, to raise up. مرفوع meaning he have raised up to be a statement of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. So it has ahadith in it. والآثار الموقوفات. It has many reports in it that are described as موقوف. موقوف is a terminology in the science of hadith, the Islamic science of hadith, which means a statement of a companion. So the statement of Rasulullah ﷺ, they will call it marfu'. The statement of a companion, they will call it mawquf. So it has a lot of statements of the Prophet ﷺ, a lot of statements of the companions. والأسرار المودعة في كثير من الآيات والنكت البديعات. And it has also a lot of, within the book, a lot of the secrets that are deposited, right? That are embedded in many of the verses of the Quran, and also the fine pieces of knowledge, fine pieces of information that are so good and so marvelous. وإيضاح كثير من المشكلات. You will find within the book clarification for many of the things that may be problematic. People might misunderstand. والتنبيه على أصول من الأسماء والصفات. And I will highlight, I will bring your attention to foundational principles regarding the names and the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you were with us in the past few lectures, every time we mention a station or a good quality, al-khawf, al-raja, al-mahabba, and we say from the causes, from the means that will make you achieve that station is knowing the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he said he will include this within this book. You will find some of that. And He says, إذا نظر فيه الناظر زاده إيمانا. The one who looks at it, he will be increased in faith. This is what we hope from Allah Azza wa Jal. وجل عليه الجنة حتى كأنه يشاهدها عيانا. Right? Increase him imanan, increase him in faith, and he will unveil for him paradise, right? To a point as if he is looking at it with his own eyes. يشاهدها عيانا. فهو مثير ساكن العزمات. If you have the book, I think Brother Muhammad and others, they have the book. This sheen is a mistake here. You need to change it to a tha, right? فهو مثير. Mushir is when you point, pointer, right? Pointing. Muthir is actually enticing and make you interested. Muthir, right? It prompts you. مثير ساكن العزمات إلى روضات الجنات. It will prompt the aspirations, the willpower that is within there, right? The willpower that is latent, that is residing there, but it's remaining idle, sakin. So it prompts, it entices, it moves those willpowers, those potentials there for wanting paradise. It shakes them up, it moves them up, it makes you interested in what? Rawdat al Jannat, the gardens, the beautiful gardens of paradise. وباعث الهمم العليات إلى العيش الهني في تلك الغرفات. And also it will again entice, it will wake up, right? The aspirations, the willpower, the high ambitions. It will entice and wake up the high ambitions to this enjoyable living, عيش الهني, the enjoyable living in those chambers. فهم وهم في الغرفات آمنون. الغرفات, right? غرفات, the chambers in paradise, right? وسميته حادي الأرواح إلى بلاد الأفراح. And I called it the guide of the souls. Hadi. Hadi is once again the chanter, the singer, the camel driver who sings to them to make them walk fast, right? Travel fast. So I call it here the guide of the souls إلى بلاد الأفراح, to the land of joys. Farah is one joy, happiness. Afrah is joys, happinesses. They use the word farah and afrah for the wedding in Arabic, right? So here it is the guide of the souls to the land of joys, the land of joys, paradise. فإنه اسم يطابق مسماه. It is a name for the book that is congruent. It exactly matches, right? It's precise to the content that is being called that. The title is fits it. ولفظ يوافق معناه. The words used for as a name, it actually agrees. It matches. The title matches the meaning contained in it. He says, والله يعلم ما قصدت. Allah knows what I intended. وما بجمعه وتأليفه أردت. Allah knows what I wanted by putting it together and authoring it. Allah knows. He says, فهو عند لساني فهو عند لسان كل وقلبه أو عند لسان كل إنسان وقلبه. He says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is at the tongue and at the heart of every human. He means that whatever you have in your heart, Allah is at it. Allah knows it. Allah is there. And at your tongue also. Everything you say, Allah is there. He knows what you have said. You know, you watching you, right? وهو المط- and He is the one, subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is well aware who has seen his intention and also the earning, whatever work he has achieved. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that. And يعني Al-Imam Ibn Al-Qayyim, because of this good praise that he has received from many scholars past and present, يعني inshallah, he had good intention in this. This is why those who are sincere, يعني many people benefit from the knowledge that they have. يعني look at the Sahaba رضي الله عنهم, أبو بكر, عمر, عثمان, علي رضي الله عنهم أجمعين, the tabi'un, أتباع التابعون, including the four Imams, the other great scholars of Islam, Ibn al-Qayyim, his student Ibn Kathir, his Sheikh, and Ibn Rajab also, and his Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah, and then the scholars come after them, the Imam al-Shawkani, يعني Imam Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, and Sheikh Al-Albani, Sheikh Ibn Baz, Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, Ahmad Shakir, many scholars past and present, they got